Hey, welcome to the grind. It's the Lowco Grind, starting things off tonight with Justin Jarrett and the fight doctor, Carlo Perruzza. I brought out the Fight Milk shirt tonight for the special occasion. It was fight night in Beaufort. This is the Lowco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. So we will get to plenty of wrestling chatter a little bit later in the show. George Dixon going to join me to catch up on some Lowco wrestling news and chat with Coach Blake Maffei from Reverence. And we saw all kinds of wrestlers out and about tonight because it was fight night in Beaufort. Beaufort Brawl 4 Memorial Mayhem went off at the Foundry, and man, I'm so glad that I got to go see you in your element and got to see what really attracts you to this sport, and particularly at kind of the you've really dove into the kind of the more regional circuit, the undercovered element of the sport and kind of the unknown stories and names. And it was really cool to get to be there ringside tonight and see, a couple of those kind of guys write the first chapter in what could be, who knows, a really long and storied novel that they put together. But man, it was awesome. And I know you had a great time tonight. You were in your element, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely, Justin. I mean, this show is my fourth time covering shows for Abe here, and every single one gets better and better. I mean, I was blown away by the organization of the show. Not saying once of the past of his hasn't been organized, but he made some changes. For example, he changed the walkway a little bit. Before, he'd have them walk through the main aisle, and sometimes there were a little bit of clusters of people running into each other. And just the changes he made, how cool his staff and all the volunteers are, and then most importantly, the fights. I mean, he stacked a good card together. I mean, there were some excellent athletes, from all over the Southeast at this show. And we saw some big performances. I mean, we saw some good debuts tonight. Obviously, Trig Tennant, we're going to talk to him in a little bit, but Abe did not do him any favors putting up with the guy he did. He fought a very tough guy in Terrence McKenzie, a guy that was 2-0, a guy that both wins were knockouts within 90 seconds. When I looked at it at first, I'm like, I hope his wrestling is absolutely second level, or I'll say, this might be a tough one for him. And we found out, yes, he is a multiple-time state champ.
Told you, brother, 2-time state champ, 4-time state placer, Kansas 5A. Arc City, a storied wrestling program. I knew when he told me he wrestled there and he won a couple state championships, so we were going to see a really high caliber wrestler. But he had a tough opponent tonight and he got the job done. How about Justin Harvey with the knockout? My man going to retire 1-0 in the kickboxing bout. That was really fun. But
actually, Justin Harvey, I do have footage from that knockout that I'm about to upload here, and we can look at it.
Nice. Is that the one that's in here already?
No, that is not yet. That's some footage of Trig, but I'm on the look to get it. But
right on. We'll check that out. But Justin Harvey, I'll share a little story about that. So I'm stalking around the room, talking to people that I knew, because like I told you, there are a bunch of people I knew there. Coach Rutherford from Battery Creek spotted me right away and was like, I see you ringside. So I had to go find him and talk with him. And while I did, ran into Gilbert Carter, a guy I coach rec softball with. I said, what are you doing here? He says, well, my training partner, Justin Harvey, is fighting tonight. And here we got it. Justin's knockout here was the knockout of the night. The footage courtesy of the Foundry. Oh,
yeah, brutal.
Justin Harvey.
That was 3-year-old amateur kickboxing debut. He goes out there. One kick wonder. I mean, absolutely beautifully timed shot. Was able to neutralize his opponent. And for him, what a moment that must be. His wife was telling me he wanted to try it 3 or 4 years ago, but she said no because they had just had kids. And finally, he got his moment. He said he had an 8-week tough training camp. And I mean, when you win like that, you're 43 years old. Right away, man, you don't need this again.
Oh man, and he brought the house down too. He had like such a big support group, and they were hyped before the fight, and he brought the house down with that shot. But well, let's don't wait any longer. Let's bring in the man who put it together, Abe Stem. What is up, brother? Great show tonight. It has to be difficult to try to wear both hats as like the promoter and trying to make sure the ship runs straight and everything, while also focusing on coaching your athletes, because that is as intense of an endeavor as there is coaching in this sport. But shout out to your crew and the folks who were taking care of the details tonight. Run ship, outstanding event, and I know it was really rewarding for you to get a couple big wins tonight too, as a coach.
Well, it's great, man. I appreciate you guys coming out, and I appreciate everyone who came out, obviously, to support us and support the sport. And definitely our biggest event yet as far as overall ticket sales, our best event yet when it comes to, just like Carlo was saying, the flow of the event was very smooth, and it was a good time. But yeah, man, I'm happy that all my guys got out of there safe. I'm happy, other than the one little scare there with Christian, that it was a pretty easy night as far as injuries and things like that. So I'm so blessed for that.
You think you'll be able to get some sleep tonight, Abe?
Oh, man, I can't believe I'm awake right now. Yeah, I'll definitely sleep. But yeah, it's when these events happen, I'm usually here taking care of the gym afterwards. We open up in the morning just like normal on Sunday morning. So it's a lot of work, but I love the event. I love the hype. I love the energy in here, and it's definitely worth it for me. But I'll definitely sleep. Yeah,
it was awesome. Well, we've kept another guy up very late. He definitely needs to get some sleep because the adrenaline's wearing off, and he had quite a tussle tonight. So let's bring in Trig Tennant, 1-0. Baby, 1-0. You did not get the submission that you envisioned when you gave us the perfect, the dream scenario the other night. But man, you fought a hell of a fight tonight against a hell of a fighter. So congratulations on 1-0, brother. And how's it feel to be sitting here to be able to say, just having your hand raised tonight? That's got to be a great feeling.
Thank you. It was nice. It was a good feeling. Obviously a little disappointed that I didn't get the finish that I wanted, but it was nice to still come out with the win.
Trig, you definitely used that wrestling. We talked about a little earlier after the fight, but you definitely used the wrestling to limit the shots from him. I mean, everyone knew going into this, he's a knockout artist. He has heavy hands. He proved that. And, one thing that surprised for me, I'm friends with Malcolm. He's been telling me for a while. He's one of the bright guys on the team. He's a very big future in this. And I knew he had a wrestling background. I knew he had some wrestling ability. But he was able to stuff some of your takedowns. You were able to get him down as well, but he fared a lot better than I thought he would when it came to that department. Was that something that surprised you? And did you maybe have to dig a little deeper when you were noticing, hey, he's stuffing some of these?
Yeah, it was a little surprising, but also it was probably because I just wasn't setting the shots up at all. I was kind of just diving in for something, but it was kind of surprising to be able to get in and then him stuff them so deep.
I think you had so many bright spots in that fight. I mean, obviously, it looks like you could have finished it there late in the third round. But that spinning back fist out of nowhere at the end of the second, I mean, I don't know if you just pulled that one from your rear end or what happened there. But I mean, that was magical.
And I've only thrown it a few times in practice, but it seemed like I should try it.
He said he was going to do a spinning back kick, and I'm really glad he didn't. I'll put it that way.
Coach, what were your thoughts when that shot landed?
I was happy, man. I think that with a guy like Terrence, and I told this, as I was coaching Trig, is you got to get in close to him right off the bat, because everything he was throwing was from as hard as he could get it, and we knew that going into the fight. I told Trig get in close, but with that being said, a guy like Terrence isn't expecting wild shots coming back at him because he feels like people are too respectful of his power. And I know that's the case too. So, I mean, that was a perfect time, spinning back fist. He caught him with a good jab in one of the rounds too. I saw his head snap back and I was like, there you go. Would have liked to see more leg kicks, but hey, you got the W. So good for me.
Yeah, you were poking fun before we started rolling at that the Terrence was limping in the parking lot, and
Looked like it.
You were calling for the leg kicks all night, and you only got one. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, man. What's that, Trig?
Yeah.
Well, I think that with a guy like Terrence, again, all the power comes from the ground up in a striker, and the same thing with wrestling too. And so when you chop away at the legs, it takes away from their base and their power. That's why I kept saying, kick the leg, take his base away. He was very flat-footed because he knew that Trig was going to shoot in. He wanted to be able to stuff him with underhooks. And so when you dig your heels in like that, it's hard to bring your leg off the ground and check. And so that was, I was saying to throw that calf kick and that low kick. Also, I don't think that Terrence respected Trig striking, and so I think he would have landed more than he missed, honestly. But I mean, like I said, you can say a bunch of ways of how we can change the fight in the future. And I'm sure Terrence is driving back home thinking the same thing. What if I would have done this, or what if I would have done that? It's all part of the game. You win some, you lose some. But, as we were talking about the other day, it's all about experience as an amateur. And so Trig's experience here being favorable for him, there's still things to work on, holes to fill in, as we discussed. And so it's good to have that feedback now while it's still fresh. Again, I don't tear away from the fighters or anything, just what we need to build on,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Get out and compete, and you win or lose, it's about the reps. It's about getting out there and seeing where you're strong, where you're weak, and getting better. Iron sharpens iron. But it feels a lot better to come away 1-0 than it does 0-1. Little extra motivation for the next one. Is this you got video queued up here, Carlo?
Yeah, it's somewhere in that last one. But my biggest takeaway from this fight is when you look at this, I mean, he was having to throw the hands. He had success there. He had success, obviously, with the wrestling. Is the importance of being an all-around fighter when you're fighting high-level competition like that. If he was not an all-around fighter, I don't think he would have fared well tonight. But he showed that, maybe, as you mentioned, some things to work on for the future, sure. But as 21 years old and someone who's making his amateur debut tonight, he looks pretty well-rounded for a 21-year-old, in my opinion.
Hell of a lot of heart.
Thank you.
Did you get tired, Trig?
Yeah, I was pretty tired in the last round.
Yeah, when
not
you got
as
that
tired
mount,
as he was, brother. You wore him down. I mean, the cumulative effect of the takedowns and you worked on him. You wore him down, and I know you were fading too, but you had a little more than he did in that third round. That was good stuff.
We just see one of your takedowns right here. Did you find the transition from the wrestling mat to the MMA cage? Did you find it a pretty seamless transition on laying your takedowns?
I think so. I think going into jiu-jitsu and being able to work on takedowns there and passing and transitioning to different positions helped a lot. And that's one of the biggest things that helped transition into MMA.
Yeah, and the other thing about Trig that we didn't talk about the other day, just in case they were watching the stream, but Trig just came off of a win at New Breed. He won the intermediate division and the white belt division, swept it. I think all submissions, or maybe one by points and the rest by submissions. And so we definitely work a lot of jiu-jitsu. And one of the things that, we prioritize, and I tell the guys, so spoiler alert, anybody who's watching this for later on, I tell the guys on my team who have wrestled not to look for the I was like, great shot, good timing. Not to prioritize the submission when you're on top like this right here, but just to look at the finish for the striking, because if Trig would have gone for an armbar right here, he might have lost the position and ended up on the bottom. So we want to make sure that his wrestling is what shines through. And yeah, you can work on your jiu-jitsu like Trig has been doing, but this isn't a jiu-jitsu match.
I believe this is the third round here. I could be wrong. But at this point, did you think that you had a chance to maybe finish him right here?
I thought I did whenever I had him stacked and then got him up against the cage. But once he got up close to my hips, I knew it was kind of
Dude, what an angle for you guys, by the way.
Oh, it was unreal. Unreal.
Sitting in your laps, bro.
Right in our face, man. It was unreal. Yeah, what a great fight. Like it was truly a tremendous fight. Like that in retrospect, it should have been the main event, right?
Well, yeah, man. So this card was an interesting card. This week has been interesting. Like we were blessed in a lot of ways. We got a lot of fights lined up, and then had some fallout and some added to. We lost our main event this week on Tuesday. Alvin, who was supposed to fight for our gym, he ended up having a throat sickness, like an infection in his throat, like strep or something like that. Yeah. And so the doctor told him not to fight, and so he stepped out. That was supposed to be against Brendan Chapman, who those two both have over 7 fights or each. So that would have been a fun fight. And then we were kind of left hanging last minute. And so we had a fight after Trig scheduled, which was going to be Darius versus Jabril Talbot. And Jabril just didn't want to fight. He just didn't want to fight. And so he left. He left the gym, and we were left without a fight. And so in retrospect, if I would have known that those guys weren't going to fight, I would have moved Trig after the last grappling match. But hey, man,
there you go.
Everyone left here knowing that Trig Tennant did work.
That's right.
And even though he's 1-0, he took a 2-0 guy and added a 1 to the end. So that's not like a debut versus debut. That's a big order.
No, that was you bit off a big piece for him there, and he chewed it up, man. That was pretty impressive. Carlo, you interacted with Terrence after the fight, though, right? And kind of gave him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, me and Malcolm Wellmaker are pretty close. I'm cool with a couple of those guys over there as well. And, it was a great fight, but always, you got to feel for a kid who gets his first loss, someone, just like Trig, who wants to go to the UFC. He wants to have all these dreams. And unfortunately, you have 2 people who are training both so hard, but someone's going to win, someone's going to lose. And, I've made a couple connections in this industry, thankfully. So, I reached out to a couple of my friends, Alex Nicholson and Mike Davis, guys that, he had told me that he was really big fans of, and had them reach out to him and just offer him a couple kind words, which Malcolm's telling me his eyes are lighting up right now, all happy. So, I figured, that could be a nice thing I could do to at least, give the kid encouragement that for him, it was a stumbling block for Trig. It's the start of his journey, but, wins are going to happen, losses are going to happen. It's kind of inevitable, and just, keep trucking and keep grinding. And, Abe, these shows tonight, I mean, like I was telling Justin earlier, I'm at the point, I cover a lot of bare knuckle events. I cover a lot of regional events. I don't do too much amateur MMA, but anytime you have it, I will 100%. I mean, you're one of the guys who've helped me really start from the beginning. You're always there. And whenever you do an amateur MMA show, I will be there.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Those are kind words. You've been working with some big dogs too. So saying that makes me feel good.
Yeah, Carlo's getting all big time now. He's
he's gonna forget about us.
Got all the contacts. I think he got a little starstruck tonight, though.
Oh, this one
got a little starstruck tonight when Maffei went into character, like full character, and video bombed him.
Hear that, Charlotte?
Phenomenal. You gotta get that video up. How about our girl Summer, though? Summer did work. Did you get to watch it, Trig?
I did, yeah. It was.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Abe, I don't know if you saw.
Fortunately, that little girl's arm's okay.
Abe, I
wasn't broken.
Story that Maffei put up yesterday, but it was of Summer getting her hair braided, and she was like, "Do you have any words for your opponent?" And she looks right at the camera and says, "I'll pray for you." And I'm like, "Oh,
that kid just."
We have a stone cold
bro. That kid is a printing press of just. Is she gonna pay her way through whatever she wants to do, man? She's got it. She's got it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting this thing pulled up here, JJ, and if you scroll, you'll see Lacey come in. But what a cool
you can add them, by the way. All you got to do is just click add to the stage.
Yeah. Okay. I will do that when I find this. But hey, back to your point on the fighter that just walked out or whatever. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
It's not very common, man, because the guy's from Atlanta. He drove the whole way from Atlanta to spend the night, cut weight, he got on the scale. He did he even showed up to the medicals, showed up to the fight, and then just didn't want to fight. And it was a very odd occurrence. I talked to him. I tried to encourage him. I think what it comes down to is he realized that he had overcommitted to something he was not ready for. Right. And I'm not going to say he was scared, because maybe he watches this and feels like I'm calling him out, but I feel like he just realized that he is not ready to fight. Yeah. And I hate that, because, it's an expensive mistake. Just tell me if you don't want to fight before you drive the whole way here and stay in the hotel and all this other stuff and medicals and blood work and all this stuff. It's just like, yeah. So I'm disappointed that it happened, especially in my card. Does it happen? It does, man. We can't force people to fight if they don't want to do it. We talked to him, and he had the opportunity to sit and see how he felt, and he just didn't want to stay, so he left. And I hope it doesn't happen again, but unfortunately, sometimes people will.
It didn't take anything away from the night, and again, I think.
And I got that twice.
So wait, are you telling me you might have won $500 tonight?
Yeah, 400 or 500. It's up to her because I got it twice.
$400 because she got a.
Do you think your mom's friend Ronda Rousey might
did
be
get
proud of
2
you
ankle
after landing the
picks,
armbar
but
finish?
I think she only gets
Yes,
the
I hope she saw
$100. I don't think she gets
really
$100
glad
per
she
ankle
did,
pick. I talked
because,
with
me and
Macy
Ronda
about this
Rousey were like best
post-fight.
pals before my mom quit. So it was really fun.
But then
doing
again,
this.
she's
Feel
already
so hyped
almost
right
to
now.
Disney
I
at
could go
this
again.
time. So
Okay,
by
Summer,
now,
last question for you. You
she might
compete
have
in
got all
your first youth
$500.
MMA event. Do you want to do some more of this after this?
Yes, Abe said I could go to Indonesia, and I really want to do that. And I've never been, so I really want to go. And as long as I win the championships, I want to do it again.
Is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers out there?
I did it, and I am blown away. That's all that I have to say for them. I'm tired right now.
Well, Summer, congratulations, and I wish you nothing but the best. That's Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Stick around.
Introduce her as the biggest badass in here. After you saw that fight, I don't know why you keep calling her that. Now say, everybody, thank you, the biggest badass, Summer Estrella, and then continue.
Okay, correction. The biggest badass, Summer Estrella. I think that's a better title for you. How do you feel about that title?
It suits me in every way.
All right, well, that's the biggest badass, Carlo Estrella. No, that is the biggest badass, Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Maybe I'll be a badass like you one day. I'm trying to be a badass. I'm trying.
When you grow up, you might be like me.
Well, maybe I'll work on it. That's badass, Summer Estrella. I'm Carlo Perruzza. Stick around.
Hey, Carlo. I'm gonna interview you for a second, Carlo. Have you been more intimidated by interviewing a fighter than your face right there when Macy came up yelling at you?
I was just thinking her and her whole military get up at WWE, like, oh my gosh, I'm part of this now.
It was so great, bro. Like, he was just about to wrap it, and Macy looks at me and she goes, "Is it okay if I interrupt?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, get in there." And like the way Carlo didn't, like, he just rolled with it. Like, that was gold. She went right into character, bro, and just jumped in there. It was amazing. Amazing stuff.
Justin was telling me after the fight when I kind of messed up there. It's like Carlo Estrella, her husband Alfonso was like, "See, Carlo's trying to be an Estrella now."
Yeah, Alfonso's like, "Carlo wants to be an Estrella."
But no, man, those are cool people, man. That was really cool that we were able to chat with her a couple days ago and actually watch the fight, meet the family tonight, and you said you had a clear. Is she thinking Indiana, not Indonesia?
No. Let me clarify. So, Gamma, the organizer of the sanctioning body that we use for youth MMA, Gamma holds a nationals event. Their next event is June 15th up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If she was to go to that and compete and win in her division, she would be automatically entered to compete in Indonesia. So if she goes up to Minnesota and she wins in her division, she can compete in Indonesia. It's not a guarantee that she would do that. So we'd have to speak some more, but I think she just went on a cruise this weekend. So she's not going to be back for a little while, but yeah, to clarify that, I did not tell her she's going to Indonesia to fight. I told her that if she goes to nationals and competes, she could get a chance to compete in Indonesia.
You know, and she landed 2 great.
Abe said I could go to Indonesia to fight.
In that fight, she landed 2 great takedowns, and she was really controlling her opponent. Going in there, did you think she was going to make that transition pretty easy and find the takedowns?
Bro, I've taught a lot of people, and that kid is different. She's not like a normal kid. And she's been homeschooled since she was a kid, and she's been on the road with Macy and with her dad when she was in WWE. She's trained with Ronda Rousey. She's trained with all these, very famous people, and she's just been around it so much that she's kind of desensitized to a lot of things, including like the fame and everything. Like, she knows how to talk. And so she said she was nervous, but when she saw that girl, I knew that it was over. Like she said in the stare down, she looked at her and her eyes, she just looked like a pacing tiger. She was ready to pounce, man. And I knew that there was no way that girl was going to beat her when they met.
I think her performance was extremely amazing. It was very impressive, but I found a clip here that, Justin, we didn't even really talk about, something that happened after the contest. So Alfonso, after she finished the fight, she was hanging out, and Alfonso just yells, "Do your effing walk." So is this Summer Estrella or is this Conor McGregor? What is that?
Oh, man. That girl, she's something else. Yeah, she's a character through and through. And Leticia, who competed, what a trooper. So Summer was supposed to go against another opponent who she grew too much. She was much bigger than her opponent. And so talked to Jason Fagler. He actually asked me if we can get Leticia and a couple other kids on the card before Summer's opponent dropped out. And so when that happened, close in the weight, they're both girls, both 11. I was like, it's a done deal. Let's do it. Now Leticia had been training longer. I wasn't afraid for Summer, but I know that Summer's only been with me about a year, and it's been during all the rest of the stuff that she does, her gymnastics and other things like that. And so she hasn't really put a lot of time into her MMA training, and her jiu-jitsu is her main base here. She hasn't done a lot of like just striking and things like that. And so when we had this opponent switch, and I heard that Leticia had been doing karate and, sport karate for several years, wrestling, other stuff, I was like, well, this might be a bigger challenge than we were first expecting. But yeah, like I said, as soon as they met, I was like, no, there's no way. There's no way this girl's going to beat her.
Right.
And it's nothing against Leticia. She's a trooper, but it's just a different breed, different animal. That's all there is to it.
Obviously, we're dealing with an 11-year-old here. She's very young, a lot of growing up to do, obviously. But at this age, would you be surprised if she wants to do this, maybe not, let's say, make the step as a career, as a living, but do you think she's a future to be maybe something special?
I think that girl can do anything she wants to do.
I do too.
With enough practice and she's got focus. First of all, she's focused enough to do whatever she wants to do. If she has the right drive for it, if she has commitment to it, there's nothing she can't do. I was talking to her the other day because she does gymnastics, and I was talking to some of the guys in our Muay Thai class, and I said, I asked her, how many pull-ups do you do, Summer? How many pull-ups can you do? She's like, I do 100 pull-ups a day. I was like, how much can you do in one go with no breaks? 15.
Okay. I don't know if I can do that.
No, you definitely can't. You can't do 3. There's no way. I'm telling you.
It's very rare that most people can't do 15 pull-ups in a row. I can say that. No. And most girls can't do 1 pull-up. But to do 15 in a go and do 100 a day, that's impressive. And that's the kind of dedication that I'm talking about. She does that because she does it. Her dad makes her do like 100 push-ups before bed. she finished
Yeah,
class
she
the other
told me
night.
she can stay up till 11, but she's got to finish her push-ups.
Exactly. She did half of them, and then I called her in the office to do the little interview the other day. So she definitely is a different kind of kid, different motivation. Her dad and mom push her because they want her to represent them well, but also because they want her to have no excuses afterwards. Like she didn't train hard enough, she didn't work hard enough. So it's a different type of mentality most parents don't have with their kids, and most kids don't have,
Yeah.
That being said, parents love her. They're very caring, very affectionate. They spoil her. Honestly, she gets pretty much anything she wants, but at the same time, she has to work hard.
Yeah. Well, just be great at whatever you choose to do. I mean, that's basically the philosophy that they're trying to impart. Be the best you can be at whatever you choose to be. But
Kansas?
Trig, what's that? Kansas?
Is that right, Kansas?
Yep.
That's right. 2-time state champ from Ark City, Kansas, and now 1-0 in amateur MMA. But what'd you take away from tonight, man? Like, just it had to feel special. Like you'll always remember this night. You'll always remember where you were, what it felt like, all those things. But like as you start to kind of process that, what do you take away from tonight?
I think I take away the most, like, the areas I'm lacking in, and I've already watched the fight back and noticed, like, I didn't use my hands much or didn't throw much on the feet at all, and I want to change that and be able to utilize everything a little more. But it's great that I was able to use my strengths and get the win in a way that I was able to. So.
You had so much support too. Tell us who everybody was who came out to support. I mean, I posted a little reel of just the receiving line that you had to go through to go over to the interview with Carlo. There were a ton of people out to show you love.
Yeah, I had my mom and sister. They flew out from Kansas, and then I had a bunch of people from my squadron in the Marine Corps that came out and watched. We posted the posters up, and a bunch of them came and supported, and there's a bunch watching on pay-per-view, and it was really cool to see everybody show up.
All right, so I think the one last things I want to do, I want to go through live on the air here, knockout of the night, submission of the night, fight of the night. I'm going to give you my suggestions, but I think, and you can agree, disagree.
All right. Yeah, here we go. Knockout of the night. What do you got?
Knockout of the night. I mean, how do we not say? I think I should be knocked out if I don't say Justin Harvey on that one.
Yeah, it's Justin Harvey. It was just so great how the whole crowd, like, I mean, obviously he's a Riptide guy. He brought a lot of support. They were rowdy too. They brought some energy, definitely. But no, he brought a lot of like friends, so like they got hyped when he got in the ring, and then he just brought the house down. So that was big energy. Yeah, that was the knockout for me.
I think that's the only knockout of the night.
It really was, right? Yeah.
No, so I mean that was the easy one
by default, but it was a good one still.
It would have been regardless, I think, unless it was a really damn good one.
Now, submission of the night. We have a couple different options here. Obviously, Summer Estrella. You could go JR. You could go Caleb, 11-year-old in her first MMA contest. I mean, a vicious Ronda Rousey style.
Yeah.
You gotta go Summer Estrella. What do you think, Abe?
I think so. I think you gotta go Summer. It was a pretty wicked armbar.
Summer was good in my opinion. I think in the jiu-jitsu side of things, Samuel had a good finish. That kid is a beast, and we didn't talk a lot about the jiu-jitsu matches, but that kid, Samuel. What do you think, Trig?
Yeah, he's tough. He's a tough guy.
He's real tough. He's only been training since November, man, and he is getting so good so quick. But yeah, Summer for sure. As far as the MMA, adult MMA, JR had a good finish. We had Caleb's choke both against my guys, which doesn't make me feel good. But hey, I would say
that's what it is.
Caleb, due to the overhand that led into that choke, I think was pretty solid.
That was a pretty good sequence.
I'm gonna go for Summer. Fight of the night.
Fight of the night. I mean, if this is Kansas debate,
Kansas baby,
Trig and Jarrett. I mean,
carry on my wayward soul.
Trig,
I saw what you did there. I knew what you did there.
You want to hear this trick? I just got a text message from Abe Stem saying winners of performances bonuses will receive $50,000.
I changed my vote. It's me. It's me. I think Trig got the fight tonight. Him and Terrence. Man, the crowd, everyone was on the edge of their seats the whole time because everyone knew that Terrence had what it took. But man, when Trig slipped that one punch or kick and went for that single leg, everyone was like, whoa. And when just the clashes, the spinning back fist, no one saw that coming. And it's just like the only spinning back fist of the night that I remember. Just stuff like that, that fight was it's a legend making fight right there.
It was
That's the
it
kind
was
of fight we want to see every time.
An epic battle. And I told Trig after the fight, like, he narrowly averted disaster a couple of times because Terrence came from way out there with a couple of spinning kicks that if they got home, man, it would have been a problem. But Trig was able to avoid them. But yeah, they were just getting after it. It was good times, man. That was the fight of the night for sure. There were some good ones though. There were some good Donniebrooks.
Oh, there's some amazing fights tonight. Abe, when should we expect to see one of these again? Are we maybe our annual November show?
November 2nd is the next Beaufort Brawl, unless something crazy happened. Is that election day?
I heard about something else.
Is that election week?
God.
Oh, that's going to be great. Yeah, November 2nd. We're going to have a good time. It'll be the last fight before the end of the world as we know it. But it's going to be
November 5th is election day. So, yeah.
Right before it. But, yeah, that's coming up real fast.
Pre-apocalyptic war.
Yeah, so that'll be November 2nd. We're looking at doing a boxing event, too, probably September. So maybe you'll see Trig in the boxing ring. Right, Trig? We gotta go
working on that striking.
No spinning back fists in boxing. Keep that in mind.
When are you doing the bare knuckle show, Abe?
Oh man, I don't know about all that. I got too much competition for the bare knuckle shows. I think the IHOP Waffle House. Right now, there's probably some bare knuckle going on. If you guys want to head over there, it's about 12:30.
Yeah, there's definitely some going on somewhere in Beaufort County, guaranteed. But well, great show tonight, fellas, both at the Foundry and over here. And many thanks to the MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports for helping us bring you this post-fight recap from Beaufort Brawl 4. Great times over at the Foundry. The MVP sponsors of Lowco Sports, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife. She'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco or maybe upgrade to a bigger, better place. She's with Keller Williams, the Low Country, and she's the official realtor of Lowco Sports, Megan Jarrett. The Homegrown Home Inspections is our official home inspector. They're the best in the business when it comes to making sure you're making a great investment in the real estate market. And if you're building a new home, you got to have that phased inspection from Jan Lucas and the team at Homegrown Home Inspections. They will make sure it's good to go and check on it every step of the way. Hospice Care of the Low Country, our official hospice provider and the only not-for-profit hospice in Beaufort County, Southern Beaufort County, providing all kinds of services around the Loco, including hospice care, palliative care, and free grief counseling, plus much more. Because at hospice care, it is not about dying, it's about living. And Mickelson Law Firm, our official real estate closing attorney, our original sponsor since 2017, and the presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. We got to get wrestling started over at Hilton Head Christian Academy. But Mickelson Law Firm, been with us since the beginning, so please support them when you have legal needs. Thanks again, fellas, and we're going to shift gears after the break and come back with George Dixon and talk with Coach Blake Maffei from Reverence Wrestling Club, talking Lowco Wrestling on the Lowco Grind. The Lowco Grind is presented by Reverence Wrestling Club as a production of Lowco Media and LowcoSports.com. This platform to celebrate the success of teams and athletes in the Low Country is made possible by support from community sponsors like Reverence. Now, back to the grind. And now we are back on the grind talking wrestling. Experimental broadcast tonight. We pre-recorded the Beaufort Brawl recap last night, rolled into that, and then going live now. Not plausibly live, but actually live. Justin Jarrett, Coach Alex Rutherford from Battery Creek. You were at the fights last night.
Yeah,
you got the shout out in the fight recap because you spotted me right away. Good times over there at the Foundry.
Yeah, that's a great event. I wasn't able to go to the last one, but it's definitely something that I'll be back as much as possible. Awesome all the way through. Great job by Abe to set that up. The Foundry's really doing some cool things over there, and it was awesome.
We're expecting George Dixon momentarily. He's coming in hot, been reffing matches up at Virginia Beach all day. So he'll be joining us as well. And we've got our good friend and the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, Blake Maffei, joining us now from Reverence Wrestling Club. What's going on, Blake?
How you guys doing?
Doing all right, Coach? You back on the mend now? You back to 100%?
No, not even close.
Never again, right? You're past that bridge a long time ago.
Not even close. Yeah, I got so I'm still in the boot. So I have 2 more weeks in the boot, and then I've got probably 6 months of therapy before I'll be normal. Yeah, I just want to get to walking again normally.
Right. I mean that's like the injury that took down Kobe Bryant. Like there's no bouncing right back from that.
It got Aaron Rodgers too. So he was back. I think he was back kind of normal at like 9 months, but he was getting, he's getting everything you can. And I've actually started doing that myself. I'm doing stuff over at Rooted Living that, they have
good
soft wave technology that's supposed to stimulate the cells and the nerves and all that kind of stuff for faster healing. It's the same stuff he had. So,
fellow Lowco sponsor, Rooted Living Wellness.
Dr.
Exactly. Ambrose Cole over there.
Yeah, they're doing really good stuff. So, but we're still getting along. I'm on a knee scooter. I did some parterre today, actually, in a boot, so that was good. So on top,
nice.
Yeah. So I missed. I heard the news about yesterday, all the good fights, but I didn't. I wanted to go. I wasn't able to make it. So I know.
A lot of your folks were over there. Saw the Rudisils out in force. Houston's girlfriend's little sister fought Summer Estrella.
Yeah.
I was glad to hear that her arm was okay because it was one of those scary moments when Summer got it locked up right at the end of the round. You're like, oh shoot, But
that's what they said. I think she's good. So
that's what they said last night, and she looked all right. So. But no, good to see the wrestling community was definitely out and about over there. But we wanted to use that occasion, kind of as the peg to, get back in here and talk about some of the stuff that's happened on the mats over the last few months since we've been busy with all these other sports. The wrestlers just keep on grinding, and you've had all kinds of great successes over at Reverence, and we'll get into some that I rounded up from Sons of Thunder and Daughters of Zion as well.
Yeah.
But tell us about some of the success recently from Reverence, some of the kids who have been showing out on the scene.
Yeah, I think I'd probably start with maybe the Mendez girls, Angie, Amaya, and Alicia. They went up to the Southern Throne last week and did really well up there. And Angie just keeps impressing me with her. She's tough. Like, she's physically talented, but her mind, when she gets in a match, she gets really, really tough to the point where, she's got no problems holding back at all. And so I think that's helping her out on the mat, just kind of that mental toughness and her aggression, which is really good because I think, female athletes around the 12 to 14 range, it's one of the things that we really try to coach into them is that intensity on the mat. And she's definitely bringing that intensity and it helps her.
They had great, the two girls had great seasons. The two girls who wrestled at Bluffton Middle, I loved watching them wrestle this season.
Yeah. The younger ones are, they're starting so early that if they just keep doing it, they're going to be extremely solid when they're older.
Awesome.
Mila did really well last week at Southeast Regional. She's another one
that's Mila Perez.
Yeah, Mila Perez. She's her positions and Sophia Perez's positions they just pick the stuff up naturally and they just hold them like they know where their body needs to be at all times. And it's amazing to see that kids at that age can pick up the positions and hold those positions even through moves or chains of moves where they shouldn't be holding the positions. It's really natural. And so they're just really good athletes. Houston, of course, is just doing really, really good things. He was 10-1 last weekend at Southeast Regionals. Took a first and a third. Would love to see the kid that he wrestled from see him go against that kid again. And with freestyle, anything can happen real quick. If Houston gets the first takedown, then maybe he gut wrenches and texts that kid. And
right.
Not to take anything away from that kid, he's a very, very good wrestler. But it can go. I mean,
it's a lot more. There's a lot more variability in freestyle as far as it's kind of like baseball. Like any given team, any given day, not quite that far, but like there's a lot more variability. If they wrestled 100 times freestyle, it'd be a lot more evenly distributed than.
Well, and if you get caught in a certain move in freestyle, like a leg lace,
it's so punitive.
You get caught
right?
It's over. And it could be over, and you could be Jordan Burroughs. You get caught in a leg lace, right? And it could be over, and it's
like there are more ways to get caught.
Yes, exactly.
Is a good way to put it, I guess. But we've got the ref and the coach, George Dixon, joining us from Virginia. What's up, buddy?
Hey, good evening, fellas. How's everybody?
Doing well. Blake's just running us through some of the recent success at Reverence, talking about Houston Rudisol's success. What else we got, Blake?
And then he had done really well at Virginia Beach. Jada had done extremely well at Virginia Beach. So they were 4th and 5th. Jada 4th, Houston 5th. We're going to the tournaments we're doing. I mean, then we had a couple smaller tournaments where we had a number of kids do really well. And for me, the biggest thing is just the mat time. If they can get 20 matches or so in the off season, 20 to 30, somewhere in there, then they're coming back really, really strong.
Right.
And that could be a beginner kid, an athlete that just started, that got 10, 20, 25 matches or somebody that's seasoned. That mat time is really important. And, we had the Reverence Ironman, so that was good to have local close by.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to do that. Hopefully next year we're going to get, I think earlier, at least from a USA Wrestling perspective, is try to get one at like Battery Creek or Beaufort, and then one on Hilton Head. And that all starts with the schedule. This year, USA Wrestling was behind on the schedule and communicating out to the local coaches. And by the time we got there, it was, everybody had us booked up with different things at the school. So, but I think the more we can get local, the better off we're going to be, because that's where we struggle is we'll get 10 to 15 kids that'll come in these tournaments when we're traveling, but that's about it. And I'd really like to see us having 40 or 50 of our kids, all 5 years old, all the way up through through high school, trying to hit more tournaments, because I think it's just it translates to the in season, So
get better by wrestling, for sure. But there's some of the highlights from Southeast Regionals. Kale Waddell. Is that who I think it is? Yeah, he's a hammer. Taking a couple golds. Houston with a great day as well. Tommy Perez, Jada Lawrence, Mila Perez, my guy Andrew Lawson. Andrew Lawson. I always mix that up. Love to see him having success. Angie and Amaya and Alicia. That family's got some serious talent. I don't know Jesse and Gabriel.
Oh yeah, Jesse and Gabe are 6 and 7 respectively.
Let's go.
Gabriel's, I think he's 38 pounds. He is astonishing. Just in his. Yeah, he's got a lot at a young age, so it's really cool to watch him wrestle. Same with Jesse. So a lot of those are the kids that went to those tournaments, and Reverence Ironman, we had 20 or 22, 25 kids wrestled there.
Awesome.
We had a lot of good results there. So we just got to keep bringing more stuff closer to us, and I think that will, if we can get these younger, we have about 50, 6-year-olds to 11, 6 to 12, and we get them wrestling more in the off season because of close tournaments that are closer by. It's going to pay dividends down the road. But,
very good. Very good. You've got some camps and stuff coming up as well, right? Some different events, opportunities to get on the mat.
Yes, we do. We have Valentin Kalika, who is a coach with a very extensive pedigree. He is a Amit Alor's coach, she's an 8-time world champion, I think, right now, or 7 or 8, and she's going for the Olympics. Helen Maroulis, he coaches her. Aaron Pico, who he's in does MMA stuff now, but he was a very good wrestler as well. So he's very solid. So he's gonna be down for a few days, and we'll be having a 2-day camp with him, and I'm probably get some private schedule with some of our kids with him as well if I can. And then we have the Nebraska camp, which that is Gil Sanchez is setting that up. He's got some really established wrestlers coming down. We got Kelly Ward, we've got Al Freeman. Both of Kelly Ward was a 3-time All-American, and I think he won it his senior year. Al Freeman was a 2-timer. I think he was a finalist. Jim Sanchez is Gil's brother, also very accomplished. And then I think we're going to have some more. Those are the 3 that we know that have said they're going to come in. They're coming down for a kind of a Husker vacation. And so Gil's just said, let's get them in the ring. We'll do a camp.
Very
so that'll
cool.
be,
I love that.
We get some Nebraska fundamentals. And then I have one more so far on the board. And this one intrigues me. That Michael Fessler, really, really good guy. And he's written a bunch of books about wrestling, faith and wrestling, as well as just wrestling books as a whole. And he's got a really good system of wrestling. Our thing is kind of bring in a diverse group of individuals from all over the country, even the world. There's a guy from Iran that's now in Mississippi. God, I don't know his name. His first name's Mustafa, but he was coach, Olympic level coach in Iran. Now he's in Mississippi, and he may be coming in at some point too. So just give our kids different looks and different philosophies, and different looks at the fundamentals. How do we look at the fundamentals versus how does Iran look at the fundamentals versus?
And what I love is you always these are always open to the public, right? Like it's not just for Reverence members. So and you don't even have like a discounted rate for Reverence members. It's like anybody you can get on the mat, you want them on the mat.
If I was doing a discounted rate, but it was $5 if you remember. Substantial.
Like you just want people on the mat. So
we do.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a good facility. We want to use it and make sure the kids in the area can use it. So
right on. Well, George, what's going up in Virginia? You've been blowing that whistle all day, calling a lot of stalling?
Sure. I don't blow the whistle at this event. I'm the coordinator of officials. So we had to get together about 100 mats. We have 65 mats going, 5,000 plus kids, 350 plus teams. So we've been, doing a lot of wrestling over the last couple days. Tomorrow morning, we come back in at 7 a.m. We've got 24 pigtail matches that have to be wrestled in the morning. So we'll knock those out. And so we have to be over there at, 6:30 in the morning for our meeting, and we'll get the guys together. We'll throw them out on the mat and get going. Talking about the females, we had 14 high school teams for girls, and we've got 6 female officials here working as well. So a couple new ones or newer ones, a few more, a little more established, Kentucky, Texas, and our own Susanna Silstad, who we'll know tomorrow if she's on the squad to officiate the Paris Olympics.
Oh,
so she'll know that tomorrow, and we'll know
Carolina?
that as well. And if we know that, then of course we're going to recognize her in our meeting tomorrow morning.
okay.
Yet to be determined, but good luck to her on that. And the wrestling has been stellar. It's been outstanding. And, it's always fun because you get teams from all over. You get the Hammers from the Northeast. You get teams like Shut. You get, Young Guns out of PA. Their black team, they usually bring several teams, but their black team is normally their top team. Diesel out of PA is back this year. So there are a lot of Hammer teams. Storm out of Georgia, Gerald Carr and his crew. Doing good work, and they had girls team that was doing really well, and his son Bryce was running the boys team for them. But Storm Center out of Georgia doing a good job with their crew. The officials, we've got some raw ones. We've got some, newer people that, trying to put 100 people on the mat. It's tough. And in the last 3 days, we had 3 people that bailed, and then we had one not show up for weigh-ins on Friday night. And so we are actually down 1 official from what we should have had as a total. But, that kind of stuff happens when you have so many numbers. Sometimes the wheel's going to, fall off, or you're going to get a flat. And so that's just part of the process. You deal with it, move on. We've had some issues out on the mat. Obviously a flagrant here, flagrant there. Somebody gets upset and throws a punch, and somebody else gets a little hungry and they gnaw on an arm or something. And so, those guys get, to exit. But at this event, the protocols is we give them 2 matches, so they miss 2 duels if they get hit for flagrant. That gives them an opportunity to come back, for tomorrow's round. So say they did it the last match of the night last night, and they missed the first 2 this morning. So they have to miss two dates basically, which is what you would miss in a regular high school season for a flagrant. You miss 2 events, so they have to miss 2 matches, and then we let them, come back in. In that regard, they're paying a lot of money to get here, so we do our best to try to accommodate, unless it's terribly egregious, and then of course you brought that one on yourself, and so sometimes coaches get a little excited. I know Coach Rutherford's on here, so he knows all about the excitement levels. And, Coach Blake, he's a little more laid back, not quite so excitable, but
I'm a little
we've had some
excitable
coaches we've had to deal with, and hey, leave them outside, let your assistants deal with it. You can come back next match. We'll push you aside and let you go cool down a little bit, and then we'll bring you back a match later and let you get back into the mix. And that gives them usually enough time to cool down, that they can collect their thoughts, and then we move on. We haven't done, like in Virginia Beach normally for the individuals, we do video review from the first whistle. We move on through the tournament. We give the coaches an opportunity. If they feel something was wrong, they can challenge that. For this event, we only do it on the last day. So yesterday and today, we didn't have any video review. Tomorrow, I'll be sitting up in the booth, me and the Wizard of Oz behind the black curtain, and doing video reviews. So each duel, because it's a duel, we follow the NCAA rules. They get 1 challenge. So if they win the challenge, they're correct, and I overturn a call, then they get to keep their challenge. If they, lose the challenge, if the call stands or it's confirmed, then they lose their challenge and they don't have any more for that duel. They will, for the next round, again, pick up another for the next duel. So they will have an opportunity that, if they continue to win, to continue to get challenges as they continue up through the bracket.
Right on, man. Nobody that we would know up there, right? As far as this is team duels from all over the place, but not so much from here.
One more time.
I said no.
Here is great.
Is there anybody up there that we would know, or is it's all teams from other places? No Low Country people?
They're teams from all over. I haven't seen any South Carolina people per se. The West Oaks or anybody, East Sides. I haven't seen any of their kids. There may be some individuals here. The only one I saw from South Carolina was Ricky Springs from Fort Dorchester.
Oh, yeah.
I saw he and his dad, they were up here wrestling on a team. But other than that, I haven't seen any South Carolina people. Not that they aren't here, but I just haven't seen them. And I don't think there's a team dedicated to just South Carolina. A lot of these teams are all-star type teams. Team Shut has 12 kids that are nationally ranked, and I think 10 of those 12 have already signed scholarships. So they are usually at least in the semis, if not in the finals. Young Guns Black, they're actually a homegrown team. They would be kind of like a Reverence, where everybody comes to that club for club practices, and they are, usually in that club. Shut is not that way. Kong, a team that's usually been here, very strong team.
I'm getting Cobra Kai vibes now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what probably the top 7 teams, they are mostly, I won't say bought, but they are kids that they don't go to that local club. I mean, it's a team they put together through money and, that kind of thing. The only one of that group would probably be Joey Strittenmotter's team out of PA, Young Guns. And his team is a homegrown team. That everybody on there, that's their group. So
I got you.
Yeah, they're legit. I mean, he has probably the best club in Pennsylvania, and it's Pennsylvania, but he runs a really good club up there. We're putting some teams together for Coach Carr. We did it last year out of 16 teams. We had one team which is called Reverence United, which was our club, and Legacy Elite. So we had maybe 5 or 6 of their kids and 7 or 8 of ours or whatever. And we did well. We lost to Level Up by a point. We didn't have a heavy. We didn't have a real solid heavy that had been training. We were missing one other weight. So I feel like we can get pretty close to Storm with this Reverence United team. So we're going to do it again. And if we do, we'll probably try to put it together for Virginia Beach Duels and see how we can do up there as a kind of a test. And we'll have 2 teams for that, and then we'll also be putting together a female team, a girls team. So
nice. So
they're good. I mean, the athletes get like 6 to 8 matches depending on how well you do, and if you make it to the
they had pool play on Saturday, so they had a group that came in the morning, a midday group, and then a later in the afternoon, early evening group, and you basically had a quad. So over, say, Mat 64 and 65, you had a quad that wrestled in the morning. Another group came in and wrestled a quad in the midday, and then another quad got wrestled in the evening. And then today, it was the same thing. You got in a quad. So you were getting 3 yesterday, 3 today. And if you advance to tomorrow, you're going to get another 2 to 3 matches tomorrow as well. So it's not a bad setup, as far as getting the mat time. One of the North Carolina teams I talked to, they know they come in. They're not going to be in the finals. Their goal is to try to make day 3 because it's local guys on their team. So they're trying to make day 3 so they can get the extra mat time. But they understand coming in that the kids on their team are getting an opportunity to wrestle some studs from other places. And if they do well against those studs, that could give them a little more visibility with college coaches or something, because you knock off a ranked kid. But your team going in, they're not going to be at the end winning the whole thing. But you give your kids that opportunity to maybe get recognized by wrestling well against high-level competition.
Well, and that's how you kind of figure out who that diamond in the rough is, that one who's got it, who's got that little extra edge that he's not afraid when he or she.
Yeah, and you don't know it until you get in the fire, right?
You don't know until you see it, and some of them it comes out. They find another level when they get in that situation. But Rutherford, we were talking last night about Gunnar DeGroat going to the Citadel to wrestle. He did make that decision. But we were laughing about he would never, not only would he not get in that cage, but he wouldn't even be in the presence of the MMA fights last night. So I thought that was funny. But I know Gunner's going to Citadel. Any other local guys going to wrestle? I know Will Morrow from May River.
Will Morrow just signed with
St. Andrews.
Yeah, and that's a local coach, Coach Camp. I believe he was at Ashley Ridge before he got up there.
Okay.
In South Florence. He started the Florence, that program before he left. I know those are the 2 that signed. I know there's been a couple others I've looked, but I know those are the 2 from the Lowco. And there's a big group going to Citadel. They've had a pretty big South Carolina recruiting class, which is cool.
Good.
I think they picked up probably 4 or 5 guys. Churchella, who's worked at Reverence, I believe he's going there.
Mm-hmm.
I know a kid from Dorman signed with them. I know when Gunner was there on his tour, he said they were talking to Ricky was over there. I know he works with the club sometimes. So there's a bunch of local kids staying local, which is cool.
Yeah, it's good to see.
So if we can keep more, obviously, it'd be sweet if we get USCB to jump on it and try to build a program. But
be really cool, wouldn't it? Be really cool. Could be really cool. But speaking of college stuff, we got some news from Sons of Thunder and Daughters of Zion based on Hilton Head. A national champion training out of there, Caitlin Davis. I think she wrestled for what, Southern Oregon? Is that right? Or something like that. But NAIA national champ. Also, she finished first at the World Team Trials in the under 20 to qualify for World Championships in Spain, and is qualified for the Olympic trials. So that's a big deal. And then Zayo, I'm excited to see what comes next for Zayo Estrada as well. She's coming off a good performance at the World Team Trials, second in the under 20 to qualify for Pan Ams in Peru, and second at the Vegas Showcase. And she won the Greco and freestyle titles at Northwest Regionals. What else she do? So, yeah, I think that's her big highlights recently. But I missed seeing Zayo in high school season this year, but great to see she's still out doing her thing, way above and beyond what we got to see. So good stuff out there.
Yeah, I think her big thing now, if I'm correct, I don't know if I am, I think it's just going for Fargo. She's trying to get a gold to Fargo.
Yeah.
That's a big goal, which she's capable of doing if she puts her mind to it, So
tough.
Yeah, she's tough. Caitlin's very tough too. I mean, Caitlin's another one of those that, like I was talking about with Angie, they kind of turn on that intensity. That intensity can make a big difference, and she's definitely intense when she wrestles. Yeah, they're doing good.
Some other standouts from over there, Northwest Regionals in Greco. Will Jakeway, another kid we got to watch wrestle for Hilton Head for a year or two, taking gold out there. Stefano Calderon, I got to coach him for a minute when he was young. Second in Greco and first in oh wait, those both say Greco. He got first in something, second in something else, but they both said Greco. Michaela Henchy, who we've had on the show before, and I adore her. She won the freestyle title at Northwest Regionals. Oh, that was Northeast Regionals where Stefano got first. That makes sense now. And Michaela was also third in freestyle at Northeast Regionals. Southeast Regionals, they had some champs as well, quite a few. Angel Serrano, Riley Hucks, William Jakeway, Mac Miller, all in Greco, and then Michaela in freestyle. So I'd love to see the Lowco kids having success. And I know that that they've got it's kind of a different kind of focus that they have, a lot more focus on like the Olympic track, I would say.
They're
I
mean, and I think even more so than that now. Greco, at least for the males.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of Greco, and they're going into a lot of different places focusing on Greco. Not to say they're not doing freestyle, but I think their main focus area is Greco. And then the girls are doing both. And I mean, that's what they're practicing now year round. So
now your girls, are they wrestling a lot of freestyle because that's what college wrestling is for girls, or are they still like wrestle a lot of folk style? What are you guys focusing on there?
For us, we're doing, so like now that we're in the freestyle and Greco season, we're doing freestyle and Greco, no folk style. And then when we get back to the folk style season, we'll have a night or two specifically dedicated to freestyle for the girls. And so that way they're always doing freestyle. But most of our girls are wrestling in middle school or high school anyway, so they going to be doing folk, so they have to do both. It translates fine. I mean, Siobhan is, Siobhan's doing great at college. She was mostly folk style. She had her, some of the freestyle in the summer with us, and she's doing fine. She's doing good. I think she'll. Yeah,
as long as you have a good base, it's pretty easy translation.
Yeah, I think so. It's mainly neutral focused, and we see it with Jada. She can go from a folk style to a freestyle and compete perfectly fine. I mean, she did well in Greco too while she was up there. She's her shoulder had a minor injury that she wanted to push through and go to the tournament, and we had to tap. We had to say, all right, it's enough, and let's get healed.
Well, it seems that our folk style programs at the college level, they're producing high level guys that are making it to the next level at the freestyle, Olympic style.
I mean,
so it translates over very well. I mean, you gotta take them down, you gotta turn them. So it works well. What was it? May 23rd, we just passed World Wrestling Day. So all the styles they're important. I mean, even Greco, you get a little more throw type stuff in there. It can translate over to like Bradley, where he did a lot more throwing type stuff for the big boys, and it works because big boys aren't going to shoot much. So if you can lock them up and toss them, you put them on the back and stick them, we're done. Get off the mat.
Plus, you get to make everybody in the gym go, ooh.
Yeah, ooh. We get the ooh factor. So
I think it gives hip power, controlling the hips. So if you're messing around all summer with freestyle and Greco, your hips get really strong. And then when you get back into folk style, you hit a double or, you hit a high crotch and you want to lift somebody in the air, that hip movement, that hip snap gets them up real quick. And you can see how kids' hips start to develop. And that's where, a lot of wrestling strength comes from, your hip power. So,
right on, man.
Yeah, they're good. I think they all play off each other. At least that's my philosophy. So.
Right on. Well, hey, I've totally forgotten to talk about sponsors while we've been talking here, but the varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports, we got DDS Web Design, building, hosting, and maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits to get results. So if you need to get found online, go to ddshhi.com. Parker Law Group is serving legal needs across Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, and they're helping us continue to expand our coverage and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes in those counties and around the Lowco. Dr. Ambrose Cole is our official chiropractor over at Rooted Living Wellness, where they're helping Coach Blake get back on his feet. They work magic at Rooted Living Wellness, and Dr. Ambrose Cole will get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. He's our official chiropractor. And Reverence Wrestling Club, Coach Blake and the team doing a great job taking kids' skills on the mat to the next level. And we appreciate your support, Coach, and helping us provide this platform where we can talk about not only wrestling, but other combat sports in the Low Country. What else you guys want to talk about? We got a few minutes. Any other topics? What's coming up? What's on the radar?
We're going Spartan Nationals this weekend.
Okay.
In Florida. That'll be another tough one. Going to Southeast Regionals this year, that's the toughest it's been in I think ever, and it's getting tougher and tougher. So it's turning into a really legit tournament. Spartan Nationals has a lot of kids that'll come down from the Northeast and Midwest and kind of vacation in the process. So it gets generally a pretty good crowd. I think they're also having the Florida State Tournament, the Florida USA Wrestling State Tournament that same day in the morning. So a lot of those kids will roll over into the Spartan portion of the tournament. We'll bring about 10 kids, and then we have about 6 girls joining the Lady Reapers, the Carolina Reapers team to have a girls team. And I think our girls team is going to be, that combined girls team is going to be pretty solid, I think.
Nice.
So that'll be good. Something
Lady
to watch.
I like the Lady Reapers. That's good.
Yeah. So
menacing. It looks like the
joining the Lady Reapers. So.
Yeah. The SOTDOZ, they're going out to Southern Plains in Kansas, my neck of the woods, next week. So
that's good.
We'll have to see how they do out there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We were talking last night to Trig Tennant. He wrestled at Southern Plains a time or two, right? You're going to Stillwater?
Gallagher, going to Stillwater. As the South Carolina director for the chapter for the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, we've got our state chapter meetings out there next Thursday, Friday, and then the National Hall of Fame. So all the big names, they'll be inducted next Saturday night. Meritorious official J.R. Johnson out of Virginia, who's done 15 plus D1s. He goes in next weekend. And then, we've got, I've got some, wrestling meetings for Georgia clinics. And then it's the 19th through 25th or something. We've got the AAU Scholastic Duels, aka the Disney Duels. So I'll be down in Florida for a week for that one.
Nice. You've got a nice schedule for the summer. You're getting all over the place.
Yeah, and there's some Tyrant stuff coming up this summer. I may go up to Pennsylvania, do some stuff in PA with them, and New Way's got stuff in Atlantic City, so I might go up to theirs there. But that hadn't really been truly mapped out that deep. But yeah, for June I'll be pretty busy.
Goodness sakes, this man's traveling all over the place. What are you doing, Rutherford? I feel lazy now compared to these
right.
guys.
I mean, our biggest thing during the summer, like Blake said, our goal is to get the kids 20 to 50 matches. I always tell kids if they can get 100 days on the mat, that's what their kind of goal is. And so we're taking our kids up to Newberry. They've got a 3-day dual camp, which is great. We'll go see Dre, one of our former wrestlers. He wrestles at Newberry. So we'll get up there and they'll wrestle. I think it's like 2 duels the first night, 3 to 5 the second day, and 3 to 5 the last day, and we head out of there. So goal is to get about 10 to 15 matches in a couple of days. And like Blake said, just try to get them exposed to other people. I know that that's a lot of South Carolina schools, but it's a lot of schools that we don't see because it's in the upstate. So the Dormans, the East Sides, the Hillcrest, they always go to those duels. So just trying to get kids on the mat, and then obviously try to send them as many Reverence camps and just keep them focused. I mean, the summer's tough, especially this year. We have a very short summer. So a lot of the camps that we normally would want to go are starting like that first week of June, and Battery Creek is still in school. So it's kind of hard to cut them out. Looking at the Citadel's doing a day camp, so we're going to try to go up there and just try to keep the kids on the mat. One of the big things, I know we've done it before. I believe Dixon ref the one at Somerville a few years ago, but doing some summer duels into fall duels, trying to put some mats out on a football field and try to just get matches. It's hard. A lot of our kids are multi-sport athletes here. Yeah. So it's hard trying to get them, with football camps and then wrestling on top of it. Football's the focus because football starts sooner.
Right.
But, we'll see. We're going to be young this year, so the goal is to get our kids on the mat as much as possible. And just try to expose them and get into as much stuff where they can see stuff. I know they went to the Marine camp that Reverence had. A couple of my kids went, and they said it was awesome. It's funny when kids come back from camp like, I learned this cool move. And it's, something that we've worked 12 times throughout the season. But because Reverence showed it, it's cool. And so I'm like, please go to Reverence and then come back and show us, what we're already doing. But
the double leg.
even better when Coach Blake comes in and runs practice in your room and teaches the same stuff you've been teaching, and they're like, Coach, did you see what he just taught us? And we're like, yep, you should do that. You should do that.
They did a snap down and a front headlock, and they're like, look at this, Coach. And I'm like, you mean the thing that we do all the time? I'm like, I don't know.
We yell at you from the side of the mat all the time.
Down, yeah.
Like, it goes the other way too. So if you haven't taught anything, and you can see they get used to the same people, and it's
sometimes you just need to hear another voice or hear it another way, and that's all there is to it. But good stuff.
Go see George.
I thought it was cool. I thought you guys would appreciate this. Last night, I stepped outside from the fights to get some air because it was pretty toasty in there, especially under the lights. I stepped out at the intermission. I was talking with Ollie Jenkins, who wrestles at Bridges Prep, and first-year wrestler this year. He went to state. He had a really good season, and we were just talking, and I was talking about all the people who were in there, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Houston Rudel's in there," and he's like, "Oh, Houston Rudel's in there? His Instagram's like my inspiration, man. Like he drives me to work harder and be better." And I was like, dude, that's awesome. But I got to introduce them, and so I thought you'd appreciate that, Blake. Because Houston he's very thoughtful about that stuff, and he wants to really he wears that mantle of kind of being a lead by example guy and wanting to be the kind of guy who puts the blueprint out there for kids to be their best. And I thought you'd appreciate that Ollie not only like picked up on that, but like it's working. He's inspiring kids.
Yeah, and you start to have that success, and success breeds success, and it doesn't matter. Kids want to be, kids want to be like other kids that are winning, and Houston does a really good job on his Instagram stuff in terms of showing, good techniques or.
Shout out to Preston too.
Good situation. I think Preston helps him.
He gets an assist.
I think Ben, dad, helps him too, and there's some really good stuff. I mean, he's got he's got one that I think has 300 or 400,000 views or something like that. So I'm like, you know, and you see those kids. Bo Bassett is one of them. You know, those guys that are out there. You can, you know, if you guys are gotten hit with the wrestling algorithm, you're getting them. Bo Bassett popping up and all these guys, but they've done a very good job at marketing themselves in terms of getting looks from the colleges. Which at the end of the day, that's what for a lot of these kids, that's what it's about. Is to put yourself out there to get in the best school you can. You know,
so what this whole thing's about really is to try to help them have a platform to do just that, you know, to just kind of put it out there and let people see what they're about.
Well, the scholarship money is there, but then you got to look at if they're, you know, social media's got high profile. That also can help them on the NIL stuff when they do get to college, you know, so that gives them another little boost, you know, income wise, right? So.
I just saw something yesterday. I don't know if it's true. I read it that they're talking about actually paying athletes now in college. Yeah, it is right. So
the Power 5 conferences
that changes things, but
changes the metric. But
if it's
the reality is they're talking about doing that at Power 5 schools, which we all know have been doing it for years.
Right.
Like it's just a different way. And so, you know, it's going to be interesting because I do think it will sort of create a separate division, so to speak, of college sports, you know, the haves and the have-nots. Like you'll literally have to separate them. You won't be able to anymore pretend like they're playing on the same field.
Well, I was talking to John Mark Bentley up at App State, the wrestling coach at App State. And he's like, yeah, it's changed just the NIL, not the other part of it yet. It's changed the game because now you're not only having to recruit your kids, you have to re-recruit your kids every year.
Yeah.
You know, you have to go through the recruiting process with your whole team every year, trying to keep them there. Because he lost a couple people that went elsewhere. You know, Cody Bond left and went elsewhere of his squad this past year. But, you know, now look at Oklahoma State with David Taylor. Those guys brought in Hendrickson from Air Force, and then they brought in Amin from Michigan. So they picked up two big portal.
It giveth and it taketh away.
Yeah, that's going to be good, though. That's going to be good for college wrestling because I think you need Penn State, and I love Penn State, and I think their coaching staff is awesome, and their wrestlers are awesome, and their system is awesome.
Yeah, Taylor's a stand-up dude.
When you know, get stuck behind a guy.
But it's going to be good that there's going to maybe creep up on the competition a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it just allows a kid
Cornell's a sleeper. Watch Cornell.
Yeah, that's a good program building up right there.
Yeah.
It just gives an outlet for kids, and not just wrestling, but across the board. But like you get there, you get the offer to the place you always wanted to go, but then you're stuck behind somebody, and there's no, you know, it's not that you don't want to compete. It's that literally the kid's better than you, and you want to get on the field or on the mat. You want to compete. Now you can go somewhere where you can, and I think over time it's going to be a net positive in every way. But there's definitely been some bumps in the road as far as especially how it impacts the back end. You know, like the high school kids who are waiting, they got to wait for the dust to settle now before the offers go out. But you know, they're just going to have to learn that you have to be patient. And in many cases, you may have to go someplace that you feel like you're better than that level. But if you're better than that level, you'll prove it and you'll get an opportunity somewhere else. So I think we just have to kind of reframe the way we look at collegiate athletics and learn how to work within the system as it exists now.
Well, I mean, you got rules you got to follow. Yeah. And every time the rules change, you know, this coming year, you get a 2 near fall, a 3 near fall, a 4 near fall, you get a 3-point takedown, you know, one point of contact inbounds, right? So the rules change, you adapt to the rule changes. And that's all they're doing at that level is, you know, you got to adapt to it.
Yep. Amen.
And you say it best. I mean, the high school kids are signing later and later. I mean, Will Morrow signing this last week. I mean, most of the kids, you know, when I was coming up, were signing by North-South. North-South was usually kind of our decision date. And that was kind of what we kind of looked at as high school kids was usually the week after states. And like Gunner, like he didn't make his decision until almost a month ago.
Right.
And so it's crazy to think that you're waiting all the way till April, May, June. And I'm sure we're still going to see some that are going to sign and or change. Now, committing somewhere doesn't really mean you're going until you sign the letter of intent. So you got kids committing left and right. And then
it's wild, wild west.
I think that makes it tougher too on the kid is like, well, this coach isn't talking to me. Well, they're still working on transfer portal and, they may not need you, or they might have 8 guys by the end of the year that all the same that way. Just happened to work out that way.
Yeah, talking to Ricky Springs while we were up here yesterday, him and his dad, and they've still got 4 schools that are kind of in the mix. They have not decided yet, and here we are. It's June, so almost, but
school starts in like August, September. Yeah.
Well, and that was funny last night talking to some of the guys. A lot of the guys that were fighting last night were old high school wrestlers. There's a state champ from River Bluff. There's a state placer from Dutch Fork. There's that
Trig Tennant
from Kansas.
Trig Tennant, 2-time champ, 4-time placer from Kansas, baby.
And talking to those guys and asking about when did they sign. I mean, Will Rogers wrestled, I think, for the Citadel for 2 years. He was one of the guys that did the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And, talking to him, I said, you know what? And he's like, I decided in July. Coach was still calling me in July. And I'm like, that's so crazy to think that our kids are signing August 1st. And, school, like you said, most colleges start by the middle of August. And here they are signing paperwork and walking on campus 2 days later.
I mean, it's proof that there's still opportunities out there if you're willing to go find them and work for them. There's opportunities awaiting. So there's coaches that got roster spots to fill and they ain't got time to find the people to fill them. So sometimes your email being at the top of the pile is all it takes. So keep grinding out there, kids. But let's bring this thing in for a landing, folks. Lowco Booster Club supports us, so please support them. We got Court Lifestyle Pros, Daniel and Debbie Court, our Lowco natives who are with Charter One Realty, and they want to bring you home to Hilton Island. Revive Rehab, Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. You'll find Dr. Allie and Dr. Jen, and they love to work with new moms to get them back on their feet. Eagle Creations has promotional items and custom apparel, as well as awards and all kinds of great stuff. You can go check out their showroom on Argent Boulevard to see what they can do for you. Eagle Creations. Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland. Whether you need a haircut or not, you can go in for the conversation, come out with a great style. And Barefoot Floor Care, the Low Country. Chris Oderman and his team will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Parting thoughts, fellas. George Dixon, what's up, buddy?
Hey, folks, get out there, get on the mats, get your time in. As they say, summer wrestling makes winter champs. So
that's right.
Get out there and put it in, regardless of what style is. Get out there, get your camps in, do your thing.
Yes, sir. Coach Rutherford, parting shot.
Just get after it, keep grinding.
Amen. Keep grinding. And Coach Blake.
We're just going to keep working through the rest of the summer and be excited to watch the kids wrestle this fall and winter and see how they do in the South Carolina leagues. So it's going to be
man.
fun. Just making kids better. So.
Heck yeah, that's what it's all about, making kids better, pushing them to be the best they can be, whatever they choose to be. That's the thing. But thanks so much to everybody. Thanks to our guests tonight. Thanks to all you guys, as well as Carlo Perruzza, Abe Stem, and all the folks from the Foundry, as well as Trig Tennant for jumping on with us. Congrats to him on his big win last night over at the Foundry. All of our Lowco Sports sponsors and all of you showed up to listen or watch. We appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow night with Worldwide Wes Kerr and Mad Max Araj. We'll have another episode of the Lowco Sports Lowdown, catch up on all kinds of things Lowco Sports, and Bradley the Baboon, who's still loose in Walterboro. We're going to have an update on that as well. We talk about all things on the Lowdown. But thanks again, fellas. And for all these guys, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, keep grinding and go Lowco.